Hey, what is happening? This is Dark Sage 101, and welcome to a kind of new type of video. This is going to be a tier list video for Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, the jobs or the classes. We got all the classes. You can't see them right now, but all of them are down here. Well, now you can kind of see them. They're right there. And we're going to be rating them in all these tiers: S, A, B, C, D, E, and F. S being, of course, the best classes. A being, very good, but it has that just kind of little downfall that prevents it from being an S. B is just good, just good class. But has like a really kind of major downfall, or a really, you know, has a major flaw in a way. C is just average classes, not good, not bad. It's C tier. D tiers they're usable. I'd say they're more usable classes than anything else. But they have that really bad downfall that makes it, they're hard to use classes. E tiers are very little use for the class. That's basically what I got to say about E tier. And then F tiers are just almost useless classes. They have little to no redeeming qualities. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, first off, we got the soldier. I have him right here. Soldier is kind of, he's not great, to be honest. There's a lot of classes that do better. Part of the problem with him is his growth rates. His rates are some of the lowest in the game, which is unfortunate, and he also doesn't really learn that many skills, so really, yeah, it kind of makes him hard to use because he can only use two types of weapons, that being, of course, swords and broadsword, or yeah, the broadswords, the two-handed swords. That's really all he can use. Although he does have access to that 60 attack sword, so that kind of prevents him from being in E tier without it. So I'm actually just gonna put him. I'm gonna put him in D. Now you're actually probably expecting him to put in for me to put him in C tier. You'd expect him to be probably the more average class. He's really not. He's not average. He's not the greatest class in the game, but he has some redeeming qualities. I mean, He's like the starter class. I mean, got to give him a break there. But yeah. So up next we have the thief. The thief is really good, really good. Solid attack, at least from my playthrough of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Stealing ability is really awesome, especially with steel weapon and armor. In fact, you can get steel armor just after the second totema, which makes him incredibly useful. The only problem with the thief is the growth rates are an issue. They take a lot of damage, which isn't good. They have pretty low defense, at least compared to the soldier. The soldier has pretty solid defense. He's just overall kind of a balanced class, while the thief is more for speed than anything else. So it's like one of the fastest classes in the game. It also has the highest evasion in the game, even faster than the ninja, which is ridiculous. Just found that out. So yeah, thief is really good. I'm gonna put him actually in B tier. I'd say that getting steel armor, like, just after the second totema, just automatically makes him B tier because you can get a whole bunch of armors at that point. There's because you can get a ninja gear and a Wygar just after you get steel armor. Yeah, in that fight in the town. Yeah, and both those are great armors. So yeah, I'd say this is definitely a B tier. Good class, good class. All right, so now we have the archer. These actually do cover all of the classes, so, or like all the races. So this covers both Viera and human, but I just have human just for the sake of simplicity, because they're all kind of similar in a way. Viera ones are a little bit better than the human ones, but the human ones are no joke. The archer is very good. They get really good weapons later on, and they also have very good abilities early on, like blackout, and the aim abilities like aim legs and aim arm are both very good. Um, and then we of course have like some of the more advanced abilities like Cupid. Cupid is insane. Like charm in this game is just broken beyond belief. Um, and then other than that, good attack. It's not like Fire Emblem where archers are useless. The guy can, attack right in front of him, and he has really good range. So yeah, he's pretty good. I'd say the archer is a pretty good class. Um, I will put him in. Yeah, I'd say C tier is good. I'd say right at the top of C. Yeah, like I'd say probably like high C tier. Yeah, like I did this for the sake of simplicity. Like otherwise, I would put like B plus and like C plus and stuff like that. Yeah, but I did it just for the sake of simplicity, so I just did this. But I'd say like Thief would be like low B, Archer's high C, and Soldier's high D. So yeah. Okay, now we have the White Mage. I just have the human White Mage yet again for simplicity. White Mage, you have to have one. It's just, it's just a given. You have to have one. The Numu ones are especially good because you get one right at the start of the game, and that already is good. Um, yeah, I mean, you have to heal. It's the starting healing class. They get a bunch of abilities. They get shell. They get protect. They get life later on. It's just good class. You can get auto life as well. There's some really awesome abilities you can get with the white mage. Just it's just a good class. I like it. It's a really really awesome class. The Numu ones and the VR ones are both very good. The human ones are also good, but not as good as the other two. But I'm kind of ranking it like if this is like all three. Just like how I did archers like all two. Otherwise, this would be like probably low D or not low D, high D. But I ranked it with the Viara as well because of their stat gains. White Mage is A tier. White Mage is straight up A tier. Yeah, that's just it's just an absolute given. I'd say it's probably like mid A tier is good for that. That is like yeah, you have to have a white mage. It's hard to beat the game without a white mage. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I mean, early game you just gotta have one. It also helps with like fighting undead because you don't have to fight undead in early game in that one fight, and having a white mage really does help. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about the white mage. Now we have the black mage, the attacking magic class. Pretty decent. The Moogle ones are obviously good. I, I mean, yeah. Well, do I need to say it? Yeah, Mont Blanc. You get Mont Blanc right at the start, and he's a black mage. Comes with all three of the spells, and you can get like the tier two spells literally just before the first Totema. I've actually seen people get tier three spells before first Totema, so the black mage already has an excellent start. Stat gains, they're yeah about the same as well. They're what you expect from a mage class. Low defense gains, high magic, high resistance, kind of like medium speed. They're kind of slow in my opinion. They're kind of slow. Usually they're like some of the last people that actually get a turn. Like as you saw in my playthrough, Mont Blanc barely got turns. Like his turns were like almost last. So yeah, he, but Mont Blanc was a good character. But enough talking about Mont Blanc and straight back to the Black Mage. I also have the human Black Mage, like I said. Black Mage, I'd say is the start really does help it. I'm gonna say probably probably yeah, high C, maybe borderline low D or low B. Yeah, so you can either put it like, yeah, high C or low B, one of the two. Just great class, just awesome. Has a great early game. Kind of falls off at the end though, because at the end you have to fight a whole bunch of characters with high resistance. So kind of just takes away the purpose of mages right at the end. But he's still great class, great class. All right, now we got the fighter. Fighter, I don't need to say it. He's S tier. Fighter is S tier. Just straight up broken. High attack. That's literally all you need. You need the high attack. Great abilities. You can get air render. You can get backdraft. You can get far fest. Like you get AOE. You get range, and you get like super like hard hitting moves. Just insane. Really good combination class. You can combine it with like literally everything. If you combine fighter with archer, you'd get like an absolutely like amazing like meat grinder type character. I've actually seen people do thief and fighter, and they ended up being really good. I've even seen soldier and fighter, and that made actually soldier pretty good in a way. But yeah, soldier just S tier. I don't need to explain about that. That's just a given. Soldier, I mean not soldier. Fighter is just so good. All right, now we got paladin. We're actually starting to get into the tier two classes or secondary classes for human. Paladin is not great, unfortunately. Does have some good abilities, but you don't get them until right at the end of the game. Because, well, the abilities like Saint Cross, and then like some of the weapons like the arch sword, which you need to get Saint Cross, Excalibur, Save the Queen, uh Nagara Rock, like all those are all like late game swords. So you're basically stuck with kind of like an average attacker, who can't really dish out a whole lot of damage. I mean, sure, he can take a lot of damage, but I mean, that doesn't really outweigh the negative of like not dishing out the damage. That's why I'd say like if you're gonna go for paladin, combine it with fighter, like just like I did in my playthrough, and you should be good. Then you'll have a pretty powerful attacker. But paladin on its own, I'd say it's, yeah, just above soldier in D tier. I'd say it's like borderline low C, but I'd say D tier is good for paladin there. Just not the greatest class in the world. I mean, you got to take into consideration that the weapons that he gets are the good ones. They're super late game. You're basically stuck with store bought swords until late game for this guy, because he doesn't get really any new weapons for a while. So yeah, Paladin, a very disappointing class, but really really fun to use. He was really good in my playthrough because well, fighter. But yeah, so now we have the ninja. Ninja is insane, just insane. I remember actually combining it with the thief, where like I gave thief double sword. Oh my gosh, that was so awesome. If you actually watched my series, you would actually see that in action. I had my thief hold two orichalcum blades, and yeah, basically trivialized the final boss. So that was really awesome. He had like almost 400 attack at the end, so that was really awesome. Yeah, double sword, awesome abilities like the wood veil, like all the veil abilities. Um, it can get, obviously maintenance, but it's okay. I mean, well, actually, thief gets maintenance. Ninja gets. Hold on, I'm trying to remember what Ninja got. Ninja gets something from Ninja Gear. I forgot, but I believe it is a good one. just overall pretty good. The stat gains are insane with Ninja, some of the best in the game. Um, just pure attack, pure speed. Just really all you need is just high attack and high speed, just kind of like Fighter. Yeah, I'm gonna put Ninja in S as well. Just right behind Fighter. Although these are really close. Ninja is just straight up. He's another broken class, just like Fighter, where all you need is just double sword, and although you do get double sword late in the game, but there is a way to get it early. So yeah, there's really no negatives to this class. He's S tier, very very good. All right, now we have the Hunter. Hunter is pretty solid. Yeah, he's a pretty solid class. He's got really high attack for an archer. You can hunt, which is always useful. You get Sonic Boom, which is good. So you get AOE. You get Sidewinder, which is awesome for fighting monsters. You can do high damage to monsters with the Hunter. Like I said, you can capture, which will help a class later on in this tier list. It's actually near the end of the tier list. So yeah, he's pretty good. He's kind of like the archer, just a promoted archer in a way. Well, secondary archer. Pretty good. He's a good class. I also really like his model. It's just a really clean model. I'd say Hunter probably, yeah, I'd say high B. High B is good for it. I do have one issue with the Hunter. Um, in my in my playthrough, he kind of had low health is actually an issue I had with him. But there's a way to kind of negate that. Is just go to Paladin and then get a couple levels with Paladin, but like beware with Paladin. I mean, low attack, like I said. But like just get a couple level ups in there, and then he'll catch up in HP. But yeah, Hunter, great class. Definitely a high B tier. Ah, the Blue Mage. Probably my favorite class in the game. Unfortunately, he's not going to be rated very high in this tier list, despite me really liking him, and also very good in my playthrough. Yeah, Blue Mage is not going to be very high in this tier list. Yeah. There's a lot of issues with this guy. First off, his abilities are hard to get because you have to get hit by monsters in order to get the abilities, and certain abilities like Sandstorm, for example, and some of the level abilities, and S Flare is another one. You just simply cannot get those abilities. So really kind of just like defeats the purpose of the Blue Mage for learning monsters' abilities. Although you do get some good ones, like Matra Magic is a good one for early game. And then there's also other garbage ones like Goblin Punch. I don't like Goblin Punch. You can get Magic Hammer, which is a good one. You can actually get Dragon Guard, which is a solid one. I actually didn't get that in my playthrough, but that is a good one. Get high defense with that. You can increase your defense by a good amount. You can get Poison Claw, which is solid for early game. You can also get Bad Breath once you actually fight Malboros, but that's kind of a late game ability. That's why it's not really going to affect him too much in this tier list because it's so late game. I'm going to say, yeah, Blue Mage is really not that great. I'm going to put him probably like right here. I'd say right in the middle. He's probably like, actually, I'm going to put him right below Soldier. He's mid D tier. Kind of pains me because he's so cool. I love him. He's so awesome. I love this class. It's just a shame that like he has so many downfalls and that certain monster abilities you just simply cannot get with the Blue Mage, which really just defeats the purpose. I mean, I hate to say you should be getting like every single class. I mean, I mean, it's a Blue Mage. You gotta get like every single ability. I mean, come on, just give him access to that. He needs it. If he got access to every ability, he would be like high B tier. He would been like absolutely broken. But as he is, he's D tier. He can do something. I mean, he has high attack. He uses sabers. He can get not Macho Magic. He can get damaged MP, which is already really good. So basically, he's got infinite HP in a way, because you can get all of the damage dealt to him into his MP. The only problem with that is, of course, his all of his abilities do require MP. That's why I'd say go for Blue Mage Black Mage combo and not Blue Mage White Mage. Because just go for pure attack. Pure attack is always better with Blue Mage. So yeah. All right, now we got the Illusionist. We're probably going on for a while. This is gonna take a little bit because we got a lot. We got 34 classes to work through. But anyways, Illusionist. Illusionist is pretty solid. Uh, it's an all attack class. I mean, you can attack everyone on the board with it, so that's already pretty good. The only problem with the Illusionist is kind of low damage. I mean, I've seen Illusionists do 30 damage, like literally, like almost at the end of the game. So, Illusionists are kind of hard to use, especially because it also is a human class, and human mages are really hard to use. That's the reason why, like, I mean, Moogle mages just carried this. Otherwise, this would be almost E tier. But yeah, because the human mage really isn't all that good. But I yeah, the illusionist is pretty solid. It's just a shame that it's a human class. Otherwise, if it was Moogle, it would be a lot higher on this tier list. But as it is, because of the low damage output and just typical mage growth, I'm gonna say it's probably here. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's probably worse than the black mage, because you can't uh, swap it into like any other class. You can't, like, you can't have a Numu. Actually, you can't have a Numu illusionist. Actually, you know what? That boosted it up. I just realized that. Let's put it like there. Okay, I just realized like you can get a Numu one, which is a spellcasting type class. So, yeah, you know what? That will boost it up a little bit, but that human one, yeah, it's just not good at all. But yeah, the Numu one's actually really good. So you know what? I'll put it right above Black Mage. I'll just put it in like about high seed here is probably fine with that. Fine for that. But it is pretty good. The especially the Numu one. The human one, just avoid it. Just avoid the human illusionist. It really isn't that good. All right, so we're done with the human classes. Really not terrible. We've got a couple D tiers, but everything else is pretty good. They have a really good lineup, especially fighter and ninja really do carry it. And then of course the white mage is always good. But now we're moving on to the Banga. We got a couple classes here. We only have seven classes for the Banga. Also, I forgot to mention we're not doing secret characters. I'll say where they might be rated if I did have them in here. Let me just say a few of them are not going to be very high up in that tier list because the two of them you can't even swap classes. So yeah, those are obviously not going to be rated very high. So we got the warrior, pretty similar to the soldier, but the Banga class definitely has higher attack, like a higher attack type thing. You know, it's more of an attacking race than anything else. Just kind of like the human class. But the human class or the human race is a kind of a jack of all trades in a way. Yeah, so the Banga warrior is pretty good. Uh, Very similar to the soldier in terms of the abilities. Although you can get like you can actually get good ones like Grease Bolt. Grease Bolt's a good one. You can lower speed with like Speed Break, so that's a good one to get early game. And then of course like the same swords, like you can get not great swords. You can get like those two-handed swords, and you can also get just the the normal swords. But other than that, it's pretty solid. It is a pretty solid class. I'm gonna say it's probably low. Yeah, I'd say low. I'm not gonna say low B. Low B is way too high. I'm gonna say mid C tier. So it's probably right here. I'd say is probably a great spot. Because all of these are pretty much almost high C tier. This is borderline B tier, but I cannot put that in the B tier because of the human one. The human one is just so bad. Actually, if this was just the human illusionist, this would be F tier. I'm sorry, but it's just not good. Yeah, but the Banga Warrior, great class. I like it. It's just it, it's kind of like the middle class. I'd say that's the middle of the tier list. Like everything around it, this is in the middle. I'd say the Warrior is the basic class. It's really good. It's really solid. All right, now we have the White Monk. Yeah, the White Monk is not good at all. The White Monk is not good. They use Knuckles. You can get some okay abilities like Whirlwind. You can get Air Render, which does prevent it from going into F tier, because you can get a range attack with it. You can get Exercise, which is very unreliable, although it is an insta-kill move for undead. But that's really all they get. They don't get much. Although you can get Golly Claws and they can do something in terms of attack power. But in terms of like really just a class itself, it's just awful. It's really not a good class at all. I'm gonna say that's E tier. Probably mid E tier to maybe low E tier. It's really not a good class at all. It's once you get a Banga, which you get a Banga, of course, right at the beginning of the game, swap the Banga class over, or swap the class over to Warrior, just immediately, because White Monk is just not a good class whatsoever, unless you're just trying to do early game with, you know, you're going through that one battle with the zombies, but you have the White Mage to deal with that. And the White Mage does already pretty high damage with his White Magic, so that already beats the purpose with Exercise. So really, it just has everything fighting against it. White Monk is just not a good class whatsoever, which is a shame because I do quite like it. It is a really unique class, but it is E tier. All right, now we have the Bishop. Basically the supposed like mage class for the Bangas, which Bangas are not good with magic. So you can already tell where this is going. Unless you want to use it as a kind of like a white mage type class, because they do get white magic. You can get all the cure spells. You can get cure 1, cure 2, cure 3. You can get all those. You can get life. So pretty similar to the white mage. But the problem with it is Bangas are not a magic race. They get very little magic in terms of it, and getting the bishop, because you have to go the white monk path to actually get the bishop, and the white monk doesn't really even get that much magic in the first place in terms of his level ups. So really, it just once you get the bishop, he can't hit hard at all. Yeah, sure, his magic abilities are good, like the water and arrow abilities, but they're not good, especially if your magic stat is pure garbage. Like there's just like what the heck is the purpose? So that's why I'd say like just use him as a healer and nothing more. Like yeah, but like in terms of like attacking, he's just borderline useless. I'm gonna say he's low D, borderline E tier, because that healing does kind of carry it in a way, but just that attacking is it's not a good attacking class. Dude, just don't use it. Don't use bishop. It's just yeah, just use it as a healer, and or just use your white mage. That's all I gotta say. Just use your white mage. Don't use bishop. Not a good class. All right, now we got the defender. Pretty similar to the Paladin in terms of like, the stats. It's the tanking class for the Bangas, so very similar to the Paladin for the humans. Although the Defender does have a little bit more attack power going for it, and they can, well, they can't use spears. No, that's another class. Yeah, if they could use spears, that would be awesome. They do get a bit better abilities, and because the warrior is better and they have better overall better like stats and level ups and stuff like that, the defender is already better than the paladin, just right at the start. I don't believe they get Saint Cross, which is kind of an issue, but they do get, of course, the great swords that the paladin does get at the end of the game. But they're still good. They're still a really good class because they do have decent attack power, a lot higher than or actually a little higher than the paladin, which will make it, of course, a C tier. This is probably like mid to low C tier, I'd say, is where that goes. Just it's an alright class. I'd say it's if you want to use the warrior, then the defender you can, because the defender doesn't really have that much more defense than the warrior, so that's why I'd say that the defender is actually worse than the warrior, and also because the warrior you get at the beginning of the game, for goodness sake. The defender, you have to work for it. You have to get two warrior abilities to get it, so that already beats the purpose there. So yeah, and you would already get better level ups with the warrior. So yeah, the warrior is just a superior class to the defender, but definitely a not a class to mess around with there. It's definitely a good one. All right, now we got the dragoon, one of my favorites as well, along with the blue mage, of course. They use spears, they use swords, they get really good abilities. They get jump, which is the bread and butter move. They get breath weapons. They get, let's see, they get war cry, which is a good one. They get, they got a life drain ability from one of the swords. They get worm killer. Let's see, let's go down the list. They get a lot of things. They're they have high attack power, and spears are just like a lot of people don't like the spears because occasionally you'll pull a tactics ogre and just hit your own guy because it attacks like two in front. Yeah, so you can hit two panels with it. But if you just move to the side of the enemy or whatever, just move your ally or whatever, occasionally you'll actually get two enemies in a straight line, and you'll actually be able to attack them with the spear. So spears are actually pretty good, and of course, jump really does carry it. I mean, jump is really awesome, and of course, the breath abilities are good. I actually found that another class, which will be coming up in just a second, pairing it with the actually, I'll say it, pairing the dragoon with the gladiator, which will be coming up, can be really awesome. I actually did that on my playthrough. I had a dragoon gladiator, and he ended up being probably one of my best members. So mainly because of the abilities from the gladiator, and of course like the high attack power from the gladiator, it does help it out. So you basically have a dragoon that has a high attack with the jump, and jump is already a hard hitting move, so just having more attack really does help out. And then you also have like high attack with a spear, so that already just that's already really awesome right there. I'm gonna say dragoon is right around here. I'd say let's see, where do I want to place them? See, this is like high B tier. We'll put him right there. I'd say dragoon's high B. Borderline A tier. I really like the dragoon. The abilities are awesome, and pairing it with another class is always good. Pairing it with Gladiator is just, it's a great mix. If you pair it with anything else, and like you can use Warrior. Warrior's a good one. You can use Defender. Defender's good. But like I said, don't use like White Monk and Bishop because they're awful with Dragoon. But Dragoon itself, great class. Yeah, on its own, it's good. It's a good class. All right, now speaking of the Gladiator, we have the Gladiator, which is an automatic S tier. I'm gonna put him right there, right next to the fighter. Actually, he's top of S. Just like I explained with the Dragoon, the guy he's basically the fighter equivalent for the Bangas. He gets Spellblade abilities, which are awesome. So you can get elemental abilities, which really does help, especially fighting monsters, and also mages as well, just in case they have like one of those robes, one of those little magic robes. It's just really awesome. I really love the gladiator. Just great mixing class, just like the fighter. Really, anything that you mix with the gladiator is going to be a good class. It's going to be a good character. So it's the perfect mixing class in my opinion. And they do get ranged. Of course, they get air render and stuff like that, and they get backdraft and all of that. They get almost the same abilities as fighter, maybe a little better. Same weapons. They use blades. Both use blades. Blades are good. So yeah, both are S. Both are S tier. All right, now we got the Templar, another spear user, and you can also use swords. Great swords, might I add. So they can use Save the Queen, which is always awesome. But anyways, kind of similar to the, I'd say it's right around like kind of like defender type territory. Think of it as like a mixture between the defender and the bishop. It's kind of like a spellblade in a way. They get a lot of like nullify abilities for mages, perfect for fighting mages. They get silence, which is always awesome. They get a lot of they get a couple attacking abilities, which is useful. They get, I believe, a range attack. Of course, they get a range attack because they use spears. And yet again, another one that will mix very well with the gladiator. They get decent defense. They're not great with defense, but they're not bad. They're kind of like soldier level in terms of defense. Um, but they're good. They're a good class, and they also look awesome. Um, the only problem I have with them is just kind of like getting them because you do have to use White Monk. You have to use White Monk and Warrior, and that's already a pretty bad mix to begin with. So that kind of brings it down just a little bit because you have to deal with stat gains from both, unless you want to don't level them up, but then they'll get underleveled. So yeah, just yeah. So Templar, it's probably it's definitely not B tier, that's for sure. It's definitely not B tier territory. I'd say it's somewhere in C tier. I'd say probably right around. I'd say it's probably better than Archer. Yeah, I'd say it's better than Archer. Because they do get that range, and they also get this silence ability, which is always awesome for nullifying powerful mages like the Black Mage. And of course, the White Mage, really awesome for silencing White Mages. You actually never saw that in my playthrough because I never used a Templar. I was going to, but I fell into the trap of the Bishop. If you watch my playthrough, you'll know that I hate this class with a passion. But yeah, enough said. So now we have what could be probably one of the worst classes in the game. We got the Beastmaster. The Beastmaster is a really awful class. All they get is control abilities. So really, they can't do any attacking abilities. Yeah, they have no attacking abilities. They can only do control. Although you can control monsters, which can be useful in a way. But I I mean, it's good for like pairing up with the blue mage for getting the abilities. That's kind of how you can get abilities for the blue mage. But really, other than that, they don't get good attack. Their weapons absolutely they suck. The instrument weapons, they are just so bad. Just awful attack, really bad defense. They're slow. And then it's only just the control ability. So it's really, yeah, it's a really awful class. Now you would actually expect me to put it in F tier, but I'm actually going to put it in low E. I, I don't think it's F tier territory, but it's very close. It's a very bad class. Really, just use it to get another class and just stay away from it. It's really just terrible. They don't get any attacking abilities. They have horrible attack. They have horrible defense. Yeah, they're they're borderline useless. They're really hard to use. All right, now we have the Alchemist, a really awesome one, really fun class. Alchemists are pretty solid. They get really good abilities at the end. They get the death ability. They get flare, which is a good one. But you mostly will use them for abilities like poison. You can use Toad. Toad's good. And of course, you can pair it with the White Mage, which I've already done a conversation with, or I've already done like an explanation for the White Mage and why it's A tier. But yeah, the Alchemist, great class. I really like it. I don't know why people hate this class so much. It really is kind of broken. It's not too broken though, because they do get low defense, but of course, because it's a mage type class. But they can get decent armor in a way, and you can get some good weapons with them too. They use maces, so maces are all right. But other than that, they're good classes. They're very good. I don't think they're like white mage territory because you can't. They're hard to obtain. Because you have to get. I think it's 3 white mage and 5 black mage, so they're pretty hard to obtain. But it is still such a good class that I think I'm gonna put it right there, right between Hunter and Dragoon in B tier. So it is a high B tier. It's a solid class, but it's not quite as good as the White Mage because the White Mage you get at the beginning of the game, while the Alchemist is kind of a mid-game type class. Got to take that into consideration for like mid-game to end game and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a good class. I definitely recommend it, but it is hard to obtain. I really wish it was easier to obtain. All right, now we got the Morpher, the kind of promotion for the Beastmaster. You need 5 Beastmaster abilities. So once you get the control abilities from the Beastmaster, you just ditch the Beastmaster and you go for the Morpher, and that's actually for the Hunter. If you capture animals, you can get souls, and that's the weapon for the Morpher. They use souls, which is a okay weapon. It's right around like Knuckles territory. It's really not that great, but it's okay. You can hit decently hard with that, but this isn't really an attacking class. This is more of a sort of like kind of like a support class. Pardon me. Because you can transform into a lot of monsters. You get Malboro, you get Dragon, you get Lamia, you get, let's see, Antlion, you get, you don't get the Fairy, which is unfortunate. The Fairy one would be good though. You can't get any of the Undead or even Totemas. But like good ones like the Dragon and Lamia are really awesome to grab, because you can get Toad really early, or kind of early. As soon as you find Lamia's, be sure to bring the Morpher. It's great character, or a great class. Great for just nullifying enemies there. And then of course they can do high attack with their Dragon Soul, which is a really hard hitting soul. one of my absolute like top favorites in terms of the souls. Yeah, but it's a good class. I like it. It's a really it's more of a fun class. It's not practical for like far from practical, but it is a really awesome and fun class. I'm gonna say Morpher is I'd say it's probably low B. Yeah, borderline like high C tier, because of its you know you, you have to work really hard to get it. It's not an early game type class, although you can get it uh, just before the first Totema. But other than that, like it really is a good class. It really is pretty good. But just yeah, working through the Beastmaster really does kind of downgrade it a little bit because you do have to deal with Beastmaster and its weakness. So that's kind of why it's B tier, and that's why it's not A tier. Otherwise, it would be. But it is still a great class and really fun. All right, Sage. Sage is S tier. Changed my mind about that. Sage is incredible. They get awesome attacking abilities like the water and arrow. They get auto life. They get the life ability. They get. Can I go on? Yeah, rise, aka life, but it's an AoE life. Now, isn't that overpowered? Yeah, they get an AoE life ability. Now, that's just broken beyond belief. Like, that was totally not a balanced ability. And basically it has the same strength as like Cure 2. So you can use it as a Cure ability and a life ability. But just, oh my gosh, such a good class. And they do get Reflex as well, which is incredibly helpful. Reflex is such a good, like, ability because, well, you can avoid all fight commands. So really useful with that. So yeah, Sage is really good. I'd say it's probably. Let's see, where should I rate this? It is super broken. I'm gonna say it's probably. I'm gonna say it's higher than. Should I say it's higher than Ninja? It is hard to obtain because you have to get White Mage and Beastmaster to get it. I'm gonna say it's better than Ninja because of Double Sword being kind of late game. But yeah, Sage is awesome because you can get Water and Arrow very early. Of course, getting Rise is kind of late as well, but that kind of balances it out. So these are kind of like almost in the same spot, but I'll put Sage above Ninja in S tier. All right, we got the Time Age for the new moves, obviously. For the sake of simplicity, like I said, this is gonna cover over also the Time Age for the Moogles. Time Age is a bit questionable. They're hard to use in a way. They get good one. They do get good abilities like haste, quicken. They get demi, quarter. Just avoid that. Just avoid quarter. Quarter is not a good ability. They get slow, which is okay. So they don't really get too many abilities, and their abilities are hard to get. So, because you have to get Time Age rods, which are kind of they're kind of weird. They're kind of weird to get. I mean, the literally the earliest Time Age rod you can get is the tier 2 spells and the Terror Rod. So those are the earliest you can get, and some of those are actually all right. Reflect is definitely a good one, and then others are fairly decent. The other two, and then the Terror Rod I believe is slow. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's not bad. It's not good, but it's another like kind of average class in a way. But they are kind of hard to use. They're definitely a support class for like debuffs and stuff like that. I'm gonna put it in probably. I'm gonna say like high D, like top of D tier. I think is a great spot for the Time Age, because there is some huge downfalls. It's just it's that bare bones of abilities. Like they don't get much stuff, and their abilities are kind of hard to get. So yeah, that's kind of funny. We only have one A tier. Yeah. Well, there's gonna be more A tiers coming up. Don't worry. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about the Time Mage. It's an okay class. Definitely, I do recommend it. It's definitely a begin. I would have to say it is more of a beginner friendly type type class. But once you get late in the game, you'll definitely see just the major weakness of Time Mages, and their bare bone abilities really don't help out. All right, we got the VRs next. We've gotten done with the both the uh, New Moves and the Bangas. They're pretty solid, other than these two, and of course, uh, yeah, it's these three that really just crippled them. But other than that, they do have some awesome ones like Gladiator and Sage. They're just so awesome, and then of course these two. They're just, yeah, I like those. You gotta get you gotta get a new Moo. Like new Moos are just so good. Great supporting class, great spellcasters. Yeah, gotta get a new Moo. Luckily, you do get one at the beginning of the game, so that's useful. All right, but anyways, we got the Viaras. Starting off with the Fencer. Fencer is pretty good. She's pretty good. She gets broken abilities like poison. Poison's broken. Like you can go literally, you can move away with the enemy from the enemy, and you can just have poison kill them, which is so broken. I I do love that. I don't use it very often, but when I do it, it is pretty funny. But other than the poison ability, their other ones are kind of situational. Things like Feather Blow, which is awful. It's one of those 100 accuracy things, or high accuracy, low damage. Kind of like take aim from archers, or for archers. You can get Shadow Strike, which is a range attack, so it's kind of like an air render, which is pretty good. So poisoning and basically an air render ability already makes it pretty good. Rapiers are also a really awesome weapon type. Thanks to their pretty solid stats, you can get some good ones as well, like the like that demon uh, rapier that Ritz has around the end of the game. Um, and then you can also get like other good rapiers, you can get the good early game ones. So of course you would have to start off with the stinger, but the stinger gives you poison, so that's always good. But if you want to get like a strong rapier like early on, I recommend the S stock for early game. The S stock's a great early game weapon, early game rapier until you get better ones later on. Uh, like I forgot the name of it, the that golden rapier. I forgot what it's called, but yeah. But once you get that one, that I believe that's the one that gives you shadow strikes. So yeah, but it is a strong rapier. Fencer, great class. I like it. It's solid damage, solid abilities. It's kind of like the basic class for Viaras, but it's not a C tier. I'm actually gonna put it. It's an A tier. It is an A tier. Despite me kind of saying a little kind of negative things about it, it is definitely A tier because of poison. Poison just carries the fencer. If it didn't have poison, it would probably be like low C tier. Without poison, poison just carries the fencer. Um, it's not better than white mage. White mage is always good because of early game access. Although the fencer is also good for early game access for poison. So actually, you know what? I'll put I'll put fencer above white mage in that case, because you can get it early on. You can get poison just straight out of the bucket right there. Like as soon as you get your Viara, just swap your your Viera's class from archer to fencer, give her a stinger, and just have her just poison everything. That's really all you got to do with this fencer. So yeah, great class, very broken. All right, now we got the probably I would say probably the best class in the game. We got the assassin. The assassin is another very broken class. They get ultimate blade, or ultimate masher. Sorry, ultimate masher. They get last breath, which both those abilities are just straight up just breaking the game. Last breath, especially because of high accuracy for an insta-kill move, so that's always good. And then, of course, high attack, high speed, high dodge chance, really good stats. The only problem with the assassin is the access for the class, because you have to get one elementalist and one sniper to get it, and that already is kind of a pain in the butt. Or actually, not one elementalist, one sniper. It's two sniper, one elementalist. I'm pretty sure it's like that. But it's still a great class. Other than that, it is definitely deserving of an S tier. I'd say it's probably below Gladiator. If you can get Assassin earlier in the game, it would be definitely above Gladiator. But because of how hard it is to get, I would say it's just below Gladiator. But it is definitely the best class in the game, for sure. It's just a shame that it isn't. Well, it's hard to get. If it was easy to get, it would definitely be at the top. But you definitely have to take that into consideration, like early game access and stuff like that, because this is super hard to get. All right, so up next we have the sniper. The sniper is awesome, just straight up awesome. You get double shot. You get Beso Toxico, which is the poison equivalent. Um, and both of those are already good because you can transfer, double shot to other classes like assassin, which I always like to do. I always like to pair both sniper and assassin, give assassin the double shot ability, and have her actually hit twice, kind of like a makeshift or poor man's double sword. So it really does help. Um, and of course you can crit both to deal massive damage. So it's another great pairing class. There is a few issues with it, however. Great bows they're good weapons, and you can get a couple good ones early game. But I find the issue for the sniper is kind of like it's kind of like it's all the Vieras have this issue. It's the they're hard to recruit, at least in my playthrough. They don't appear often at all, at least from my playthrough. I barely got any of them. I don't know if it was just I don't know if it was my emulator that just like kind of prevented these classes from appearing at all, or this race from appearing. But I only saw maybe like two of them, maybe three of them appear. Like easily probably one of the rarest races in my playthrough for sure. Like I only saw very few of this race. So, but that doesn't really affect the rating. But I just wanted to uh, to say that. But that is kind of like a downfall, but it's not going to affect it in the rating. Sniper is top of A, borderline S tier, borderline S tier, because it basically is the range attack version for the assassin in a way, because they do get an insta kill move in the way of that doom shot ability. So that's always good. You can doom with a bow. The only problem is that bow is incredibly late game. It's called Max's Oath Bow. That's the reason why it's not any higher than A tier. Otherwise, it would be S tier, because that bow is super hard to obtain. The only one that you can really get like guaranteed is the one, literally the battle with Ritz, like one of the final battles in the game. Uh, you have to steal it from an assassin, and that assassin has the Max's Oath though. So you got to make sure you bring a thief with steel weapon to get that and give it to your sniper, and that will give you that doom ability. So that's always good. But yeah, still great class. Great class. Gets poison. That's already good. You get poison from a range. All right. Now we got Red Mage. Red Mage is awesome as well. Vieras really do get some good classes. Um, and need I say more? Double cast. Need I say more? Double cast just carries. Although kind of late game, you can get one from just stealing it from, I believe it's just a random clan. Um, there's a certain like oh no, it's Clan Borzoi. Sorry, it's Borzoi. Just gotta continue through that uh, that battle line or whatever, that mission line, and one of those one of the very first ones. I think it's like third or fourth one. There will be a red mage with the Madu, which is the equivalent, or the weapon that gives you double cast. So you got to make sure you get your steel weapon before you do that fight. Steel weapon can be kind of like hard to get in a way. Just kind of going back to thief here. Steel weapon can be hard to get because well, it is kind of like a late game thing. But there is something called steel ability. You can get that really. You can get that early. It is hard to get, but you can get it early, and you can get it. You can actually steal an ability from the thief in the first wanted quest, because that thief has steel weapon, and you can just get that. So, but it is a tedious process, so that's why I just forget about it. It's a kind of a forgettable process, but I usually just wait. I wait it out. But yeah, Red Mage, great class. Definitely, I'm going to say probably bottom S. I'd say it's just barely an S tier. Um, just because of the double cast, because you can heal and attack, and that's already really awesome. You can double heal, you can double attack, you can do barrier then heal. You see what I mean about Red Mage? Great class already. Uh, you get rapiers, which are already, like I said, my my thing with rapiers. Rapiers are great. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about the Red Mage. It's a very good one. It's a very good class. All right, so up next we have the Summoner, kind of like the Illusionist equivalent, in a way, because they can't attack everyone on the board. They get summon abilities, which kind of like they kind of attack in like an X shape. It's kind of weird. They're really weird to use, but they are really good. They get some good ones like Ifrit is one of the early ones you can get. You can get Kirin, Unicorn. You can get the that ice one. I forgot what it's called. Um, so yeah, you can get some good summons. It is kind of a bare bones kind of selection, but it doesn't really matter when you get a super hard hitting one mixed with one that uh, has kind of like a, well, the kind of summon range with the healing is always good. And then of course they have their Asuna equivalent in the form of Kirin. Kirin is the Asuna equivalent, so you can cure any status effect with that, which is incredibly useful, especially in late game, because they love enemies love to spam status effects like Doom. They love spamming poison, sleep. slow, like all that, yeah, all those status effects. They love spamming those, so having a summoner around really does help. They are really slow, probably the slowest class in the game, but they are good. They are really good, despite that. So that does prevent it from going into obviously S tier. It's not an A tier. It's going to be just barely above the Alchemist in B tier. Yeah, it is good. It is a good class, but the problem with it is, of course, the speed. It's like it's probably the slowest class in the game. I actually didn't really check, but I believe it is, or at least very close. It's not a fast class at all, because as you know from my playthrough, I had a summoner that was around the same level as my team, and she went last almost every single time. So yeah, like she is so slow. Yeah, a really slow class, but they can be really powerful. They can be a really powerful class. It's a walking spellcaster in a way. Yeah. All right, so now we got the final Viera class. We have Elementalist, which is a not a good class. Not a good class. Although they do get rapiers. Rapiers are good. But their status effect moves like Fire Whip, and stuff like that. They can get like the immobilized stuff, um, but they don't really have much. They really don't. They do get the immobilized abilities, and they do get like kind of like a blackout type ability. But other than that, it's kind of like a weird mix between the fencer and the ninja with only the status things, but the status effects are kind of weak. Yeah, they're kind of, in my way, they're a little weaker. And of course, like Elementalist does not have like the attack power or defense to even handle anything, so it's not really that good. Um, which is unfortunate because I do like the design of the Elementalist. It is a really cool looking class, but there you go. I'm gonna put Elementalist in. I'd say it's probably, let's see here, probably somewhere in D, maybe high E. I'm gonna put it in. Yeah, I say high E is good. Yeah, you can put it in either low D or high E. Um, After the end of this episode, I'm actually gonna publish this tier list and put in the comments down below in the tier list or whatever. See if you agree with that. But feel free to disagree. This is just my opinion. But yeah, Elementalist not that good. Although really cool class. But there you go. There is the Vieras. They have really awesome stuff like the the assassin, the red mage, the fencer, the sniper. Like all those four are super awesome. Probably yeah. I'd say the best race in the game in a way. Yeah, I'd say the best. Alongside the human race as well, with you know white mage, um, fighter, and ninja. So yeah, but it is a really good. They have a really good lineup. They just have a couple duds, like of course the Elementalist. The Elementalist is the only bad one in that one, because like the next is just yeah is Summoner, and Summoner is really good. So yeah. All right, now we're moving on to Moogles with the Animist, the kind of equivalent of the Beastmaster, and you already know how much I hate the Beastmaster. They do get okay abilities like 100% wool, which is a defense ability. They get Chocobo Rush, which is always pretty good. And you can get like other classes with it, and it's kind of a decent mixing class. But they use instruments, probably the worst type in the game, like worst weapon type in the game, along with the knuckles. So, yeah, I don't really need to say too much about the Animus. It's really not that good. It's definitely it doesn't even feel like a Moogle class, to be honest. It does feel like the Beastmaster with just a few a few improvements, which does prevent it from going into F. I'm gonna put it just above the white monk in E tier. Animus is not good. I know a lot of people like it, and a lot of people put Animus in A tier. It's you don't know just how many weaknesses this thing has. I mean, it. We're talking about a horrible weapon type in the form of instruments. I mean, have you tried to use like instruments as a weapon? They don't hit hard at all. You could I would be surprised if you can hit 20 damage with an instrument. I mean, seriously, it's so bad early game. It's so bad in mid game, and then it's nearly useless in late game. So, yeah, Animist is an E tier, top E tier. All right, next we have the Gunner. The Gunner is pretty awesome. I didn't really use it, if not at all, in my playthrough, but it is a really good class. I kind of wish I did use it because it is also a really good mixing class. You can mix it with really anything in terms of the Moogle classes. I've actually seen people do Gunner Black Mage at some points, which is a really cool combination. I've also seen it with Gunner Mognite, which is going to come up in a bit. And you can make the abilities with the Mognite incredibly long range, and I've seen that skill before. It's really good. Yeah, I've seen that tactic before. It's super cool, and I kind of wish I did that in my playthrough. I kind of missed out, but the Gunner is an excellent class. They get good range. The guns are they're a solid weapon type. They don't hit very hard, but they do get some good abilities like Charm Shot and Blind Shot. That already makes them pretty good. Yeah, the fact that they get Charm and Blind. Charm especially is good. So think of it as like a longer range version of Archer, and it's definitely a better Archer for sure. Gunner is probably, I'd say, somewhere in A tier. I'm gonna say probably because it's kind of like the promotion for Animist over here. And Animist I've already said is really not that big of an improvement from the Beastmaster. I'm gonna put uh, Gunner just above the White Mage in A tier. I'd say it's right around here. Like it's super similar. Like these three are super similar in terms of strengths. But Gunner is an excellent class. Definitely recommended by me. Because that long range really does help, and those status effects, yeah, that will kill you. All right. Speaking of Mognite, we have the Mognite, which is the kind of like a mixed class. Think of it as a mix between the Paladin and the Fighter, or the Paladin and the Gladiator, or the Defender and Gladiator, and so forth. It's really good. They have a mix of abilities. They get air render in the form of Mog Lance. They have just fancy names, but they're literally identical. They get pretty good stat gains. Their stats are really good. They get high attack. They get high defense. Think of it as like like you're mixing fighter and paladin in a way. So, but it's in one class. It's pretty cool. It is a really cool class. Now, there is a glaring issue with Mognite, and that's the reason why it's not going in a super high tier. It is a Moogle. And Moogles are basically kind of like another spellcasting class. They don't really get that good of attack. So the fact that they get these blade types, and of course air render, and they get a type of backdraft as well, but that doesn't really help when your attack sucks. So yeah, but Magnite is it is still a good class. I'd still say it's still kind of a high tier class. But that definitely needs to be into consideration, that Moogles are really not a good physical attacking class. I say Magnite is I'm gonna say somewhere in B tier. I'll I'll put it just above Thief in B tier. So it's like a mid B tier. Um, if it wasn't like a Moogle class, if it was just like a human or even Viera would have been interesting to see. Then it would probably be S tier. Yeah, if that was the case, because having high defense and high attack is super useful, and having those exact abilities from the paladin and the fighter into one class, that's an excellent mix into one class. So you can basically mix this with anything else. So that really just makes it such a cool class. But it's just a shame that it is a Moogle. All right, then we have other than the Blue Mage, this is probably my second favorite class. We have the Juggler. The Juggler is super good. Let me just say, yeah, it is an S tier. I'll put it probably right there for a second. They get stop. Yeah, I don't think I need to say anything more than that. Stop is broken. It doesn't, in a way, it doesn't really wear off. It's hard to get away from stop. Stop is super. Well, it takes a long time for that to wear off. You can't use a Suna to cure it. So basically, when you cast stop on an enemy, they're stopped. They can't do anything. And unless they use an item, which very few enemies even do that to fellow allies, they don't give items. So they don't really use too many items. At least I haven't seen it very much in my playthrough. But yeah, they also get, of course, the disable ability with the form of dagger. They get berserk. They get smile, which is quicken. Quicken is broken. So just having both stop and quicken just automatically makes it S tier. Like I said, with Moogle Knight or Mog Knight, it is kind of a physical attack class, and like I said, Moogles are not a good physical attack class. But that really, it doesn't really change the fact, because you can still use the two abilities, and those two abilities they just carry this class. So I'm gonna say Juggler is just below Sage in S tier. I'd say it's a very solid S tier, for sure. I've got a lot of S tiers, but a lot of those are very very good. Actually, you know, I'm gonna drop Red Mage into high A, because you can. There is kind of like a downfall in a way, just kind of like the low defense, and you have to. You can only use double cast with your own spells. You can't pair it with anything else. Yeah, I'd say high A. But yeah, Juggler, great class. Great class. Definitely highly recommended, and it's pretty easy to get because you can just use a Moogle Thief, get two abilities with that, and you get Juggler. Easy as that. And last but certainly not least, we have the Gadgeteer, and that is an automatically F tier. I don't need to explain that one really too much. It's the worst class in the game. It basically just takes the tactics part from Final Fantasy Tactics, just takes it all away. There's no tactic into this class. It targets the entire board. You basically you flip a coin, and like give an example. There's actually an ability. It's a poison ability. They get. I think it's called Green Gear. So you either poison the entire enemy team, or you poison your entire team, or your team. So it will go either one or the other way. So you can either get an automatic win, or you can get an automatic loss. There's no strategy in this class. It's so useless. It's got very limited. Like you can't use this class. It's literally unusable. That's actually why you actually didn't even see me use one in my playthrough, because there was no point. There was zero point of using it. But yeah. So yeah, that's what I gotta say about the Gadgeteer. And that is the tier list. Pretty interesting. Uh, a lot of good classes in there. Our our S tier is definitely pretty stacked up there. Um, and then like we have a lot of D tiers. Well, you kind of got to take it in consideration the kind of early game in a way. Like things like Time Age are really hard to get early game. That's the reason. Another reason why it's D tier. Although the abilities are kind of okay, but they both get a very bare bones amount of abilities, and their abilities aren't they get a couple good ones, but the rest are not good. Like Quarter, like you serious? Quarter's useless. And you can't even use it on bosses because like things like totemas, they're immune to that. So yeah, I really don't get the yeah, I don't really like the Time Mage. Also, because you have to get 5 black mage spells, which oh my gosh, that's a pain to get. But there you go. There's the tier list. Feel free to disagree in the comments. This was definitely fun to put together. Um, so yeah, comment down below what you actually agree with this tier list. I guarantee a lot of people are going to agree with the gadget tier and most of my D tier and E tier. Um, but there's going to be a lot of I guarantee there's going to be a lot of criticism in my B tier here, especially um, especially like more for an alchemist. Because I know a lot of people hate alchemists. Because I've seen a lot of people put alchemists in D tier. It's not a D tier class. It's like almost A tier. It's so good. Um, and I guarantee a lot of people are gonna bash me with also animist. Animist is another one I see a lot of people bashing me for because a lot of people love animist uh, because of because of that one ability being 100% wool, but that ability, that's literally it. That's legit all they get. And it really isn't all that useful when you're fighting magic users because it's only physical defense. So yeah, that already takes it away right there. Because well, it takes away the late game stuff. Yeah, sure, it's okay early game, but in late game it's useless. Like why would you use this class? Like why would you use it? But yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of a little different. I've been probably doing this for over an hour, so I do apologize. Um, my throat's starting to hurt because, well, I've been talking for like over an hour. This is just going to be a one video day. It's just going to be this because I'm still not done with Order and Chaos. My grinding, I'm not even close to being done with that. But hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video, which will be tomorrow. And in the next video, we're going to be doing probably some Legend of Zelda Minish Cap and some Order and Chaos. I'm going to do a little bit of grinding when this is uploading. So yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.